Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Waiting on some key people to join us. As soon as they do, we'll go ahead and get started. Really looking forward to this call. So let's see, Tracy, do we have you online, please?
I am here.
All right. It looks like we have Todd. Todd, are you on, sir? All right, looks like we're waiting on Todd.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Todd, is this you?
Yes.
All right, Todd, thank you. All right, looks like we're ready to get started, so let's get right into it. So, thank you, everyone, for joining the Allied Universal Maxent Integration prep call. This is a very important call, key call where a lot of stuff is going to be discussed with you today, and a lot of good information is going to be shared. So let's get right into it. So, moving on, I'd like to kick this over to Tracy. So Tracy, to you, please, for opening remarks.
Absolutely. First of all, welcome everybody. We are super excited to be welcoming the Maxent team into the Allied Universal family and organization. Contracts, so everybody is aware, will remain as they've been operating for, however long. Some of them are very old contracts, and some of them are a little newer, like just having welcomed the Puerto Rico team into the Maxent family. So the programs will remain the same, and then, for the Allied Universal team, this will also be something a little bit different because FPS programs, which is a good portion of this integration, they're a pretty unique little organization. So just really excited to have everybody on board. I'm the president of our Government Services Division, for those of you who don't know me, and I have a team that will be, for the Allied Universal and Maxent teams, that will be helping support all of the federal business moving forward. So just super excited about this. Can I turn it over to Todd?
Yeah, Todd, please, to you, please, sir, for opening remarks.
All right, thank you. So for all the Maxent employees, obviously you're probably aware of some of the history that kind of led to this. Obviously we've grown. It's hard to believe that 18 plus years ago, started this at my kitchen table on a wing and a prayer, and here we are, right? Obviously there were some events in my life in the last 18 months that kind of motivated this. So Matt, who everybody knows is part owner, and I had hours and hours of conversations, months of conversations, and started down this path last year. So it wasn't that this was a wing and a prayer, oh shit kind of moment. It was very methodical, very thought about, very detailed, and all that. We've all been through transitions. All of you transitioned over, with the exception of a few in time. Transitions are always challenging, difficult. Change always sucks. Pretty much everybody in this call has probably heard me in a transition meeting talking about the first 90 days. The first 90 days is going to be the greatest thing ever. It's going to suck. What did we do? I want to go back. And then at the end, it kind of normalizes out. The positive with the situation with going with Allied is they have a lot of resources. They have a lot of things that we in time would have gotten to as we got bigger. They're a lot more structured, and they have a lot more opportunity. There's going to be a lot of opportunity coming. If everybody in this call isn't aware, Paragon, as of last week, has decided to fold up. They've notified the United States government, Federal Protection Service, that somewhere between now and September 30th of next year, they're going to give all their remaining contracts back to the government to reprocure. I have spent the last several days talking to numerous contracting officers who have gone into great depth to ask questions about Maxent and are being part of the Allied group now, because they bought the stock of Maxent. So they bought it all. They brought it over. So it's not just an asset sale, it's a stock sale. Allied is in the position, based upon us and them together, to win a lot of that business. With that means there will be opportunities for everybody on this call to go into new roles if we want to, depending how this transition goes. I don't mean to sound bad, but I'll sound bad in that we have transition Paragon contracts, and sometimes there's things that need to be corrected on them. We'll leave it at that. So I know there's gonna be a lot of questions, be a lot of comments and all that. What I would ask is if you have questions during this process today, write those down. You can email me, you can call me. I'll respond. If I don't know, I'll find out the answer. The government, like I said, is well aware of this. There's already been some questions about switching of patches and all that, and Tracy and I have a timeline when we're going to talk to the contracting officers, and it's going to be a personal call with them to explain the process, make sure they understand, because obviously they got to let their tenants know. All those details have been thought about. All the people that are on the Cabarrus contracts, you're going to stay on those contracts as the Max Act going to become AUS. The way those teaming agreements and subcontracts read, those things aren't going to change. So don't be panicked, don't be worried. Pay rates are staying the same, things are staying the same. It's just going to be different, and ultimately, hopefully, will lead to more opportunities. So with that, Tony, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Todd. Thank you. Really appreciate the intro. And again, to the Maxent, Legacy Maxent team, we are here to support you 100%. And so I'll kick it back to Tracy to jump in. But before we do jump in, a couple of topics I'd like to go over. One is the site you're looking at right now. So again, welcome. And again, we look forward to supporting not just the Maxent team, but the Allied Universal leaders on this call. And that, when I say the AUS leaders, we're very excited about this transition, and we are definitely all in with you all. During this integration, there's going to be a lot of work, a lot of stuff that needs to get done before we get to go live. So that is one of the keys. But the most important thing here remains service, delivery, and client retention. Most important. Take care of our customers, they take care of us. On this call, who should be on this call? On the Legacy Maxent team should be all legacy supervisors, contract managers, and above. So if you're looking at the invite that I send out and there's someone missing that is critical to this integration, please let me know and I'll forward that email over to them. Critical back office admins and operational support. Those are important that they're on this call so that they have input, share knowledge, that type of stuff. And again, if they're not on the call, please let me know and I will share the invite. On the Legacy, on the Allied Universal stuff, call AUS GMs, BMs, and above, directors of operational excellence, and designated AUS admins, along with the leadership team. If on the AUS side you notice that I forgot to send the invite to someone, please let me know and I will forward that invite to them. All right, so those are before we jump in, having said that, I'm going to kick it over to Tracy, to you please, to get us started on the leadership team.
Yes, so leading this go live process and integration from the Maxent team, you have Todd, Matt, and Russ Scholl, who is the Vice President of Operations for Maxent. And then from the Allied Universal leadership is myself, Tracy Fuller, Stephanie Stevens, and Danny Grizzard, who are a part of Danny's name unfortunately was left off of here, who are part of the Federal Services team, Mike Kirkman, of course, Tony Ramirez, and then our region presidents and their operational support team. All right, so go live. When we talk about go live, and Tony, I'm going to hand it back to you in a few minutes. Go live is the preparation. We're going to have a series of these calls every week starting today, and we're going to walk through all the different elements of what it takes to go from being branded as Maxent to be branded as Allied Universal. So transfers of licenses, IT issues, firearms, uniforms, all the different components of what it's going to take to rebrand as Allied Universal by September 5th and get everybody onto our payroll and the jobs built into our system, so for scheduling and invoicing and all of the other fun stuff that goes with it. So Tony, I'm going to hand it back to you to continue the process.
All right, let's do it. Okay, thank you. So a lot of folks on the call are probably asking themselves, what is Go Live? So Go Live is September 5th. That is the day that the core operations from Maxent to Allied Universal. Let me say that again. That's when Maxent transitions over to Allied Universal. That means all the legacy uniforms change to Allied Universal uniform. And if there's uniforms that are client specific were required no branding, then they all remain the same. Begin the AUS ETK IVR process in addition to the 139 timesheets. So you remain doing everything the same, your government timesheets, all that remains the same, although AUS will incorporate an ETK process, and that will be discussed on our calls as we push forward. Payroll for the day of Go Live and beyond runs through the Allied Universal systems. Billing, the day of Go Live and beyond runs through the Allied Universal payroll systems. Medical benefits will migrate on the first day of the month after Go Live, 9/5. For those on Maxent medical benefits, no applicable to union benefits, or not applicable to union benefits, excuse me. All right, it is important. The day of the transition for all employees and our clients, effective execution means a seamless process for security professionals, clients, and operators. Okay, that's really, really key. The Go Live prep process leverages back office IMO calls along with highly interactive weekly calls with you all, with our leadership team, both on the legacy and Allied Universal side. As we have approached Go Live, weekly prep calls have been scheduled for Thursdays. As you can see, I've set up your times here from 9 a.m. to 10, 11 to 12, 12 to p.m. to 1 p.m. So you fit in. Our last and final call will be August 28th. All right, so having said that, that is Go Live. Pushing over to our Go Live prep calendar, this is what we're looking at. Today is the 17th, so we will have a Go Live call every Thursdays. We will have one on the 24th, the 31st. Moving into August, we will have one on the 7th, 14th, 21, and the last the last prep call will be on the 28th. That'll give us that entire week to get ready for Go Live, which is September 5th. All right, moving on. Go Live prep is all hands process to make sure service, payroll, and billing transition run smoothly with minimal impact to operations. All right, what do we have? What's that process? What is entitled into it? So we have data and systems. And we create all jobs. That's where we move EEs to WinTeam. Applications move to iSIMS. WinTeam, eHub access, iSIMS access, Sterling access. So that's our first step, right? Data and systems. What comes after that? After that comes job mapping and data validation. Owner, client facing, and operator, scheduler by job. We validate build as incurred items. We validate electronic timekeeping approach. And then we move over to training. Identify needs, WinTeam, eHub, iSIM, Sterling, and AU enrichment training. We execute training, begins schedule build. What comes after that? Schedules and final prep. Final schedules, all shifts are covered, final uniforms, fleet, and so on. Final customer communication letters go out. Final EE comms go out. Right? And then now that brings us up to go live plus look back. All hands on deck. Daily calls beginning at go live through 2 weeks after, which means that the people that are supporting this integration, that's where we'll have our daily calls to make sure that everything has been buttoned up and is dialed in. Escalation of any issues, escalate the issues to me or to the team so that we can find the solutions to whatever problem happened throughout go live. Performance management. What do we talk about performance? What do we need? How do we need it? What can we do to support you? All right, looking at my down here, we have customers, retention and communication. Really important that we have good retention and good communication to our customers. Employees, communications to admin and frontline staff honored before 7/31. This is your communications letter. This will be going out before then. And logistics, real estate moves, uniforms and vehicles, and licensing and coordinating throughout. So that's a lot of the go live prep. This is why we say all hands on deck. Yeah, that's a lot of work, and a lot of work comes on a lot of these systems I just mentioned. So there's a lot to do, and believe us, there's a lot of people on this team here that'll help you and that will guide you through it. Not just you, but including myself. All right, moving on. But before I do, Tracy, if I miss anything, is there anything else you would like to cover?
Tony, the only thing I'd like to re-emphasize is that, especially for the Maxent employees, Maxent teams, nothing changes in terms of benefits, salaries, the health and welfare, all of the way that the contracts are designed and structured remains the same on the FPS programs, and then same with the commercial piece of business. So it's just really important that we make certain that we're communicating that with the PSOs and the regional, so that they have a level of confidence that their world is, the only thing that's significantly going to be different for them is that they're going to be in an Allied Universal uniform and be paid weekly, because that's how we pay our frontline staff. That's it, Tony.
All right, thank you, Tracy. All right, what do we have now? This is our Maxent Go Live timeline calendar. Go Live date, September 5th. I'm gonna throw that date out here a lot. You're gonna hear me say September 5th. September 5th is a big day for us. That's our Go Live. But how do we get there? What gets us there? So this is that calendar. That calendar will give us pinpoints of what needs to be done, what needs to be accomplished, and how and when. So let's take a look at some of the actionable items that have already been taking place. So starting back in July 1st, weekly IMO calls have begun. Yes, those are ongoing. Those weekly IMO calls are for a broader group, and those are happening every Tuesdays at 9 a.m. So we've already checked that one off the list, right? So as you can see, we have a couple of items that are passed. Now, a lot of items have already been taken care of. Job loaded file to FSO, employee onboarding plan, right? All of that's already done, and that brings us to July 17th. This is where we're at. This is our go live prep call. So what's next? Our uniform orders are due on the 23rd. Our partner on the Allied Universal side, Laura, is already on that, already taking care of that, right? So she's got her plan going. And that plan she will discuss here later on our presentation. And then we have our next go live date on the 24th. Go live comms. Go live comms are due for the 25th. Employee onboarding begins the last week of July, which is the 28th. Security clearances kick in. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that is happening throughout the calendar month of August. A lot of hot topics that are being covered, a lot of actionable items that are being taken care of. So that includes uniform shipment. That's when uniforms start heading out to the branches. That'll happen August 1st. Initial load of our employees into our internal ERP system, which is WinTeam. That gets loaded in on the 7th. Jobs load complete by our shared services team. That happens on the 8th. Big ticket item from our IT department. That's when we start to ship out all of our hardware, laptops, cell phones, that are going to get the equipment. That will happen starting the 11th through the 15th. So we're doing this week. You should start to receive equipment. In addition to the equipment you'll be receiving your credentials to log into those equipment. So hopeful that everyone receives a one-to-one on the list that will be getting those. So big key item starting August 19th through the 21st. That is go live training. This is for those end users, supervisors, etc. Will start getting trained on our operational systems, which will include Wiki, SharePoint, ADX, and so on. There's a ton of stuff that is going to be covered in those 3 days. Then we push over to August 25th through the 29th. That's the heavy lift, right? That's when we start building schedules. That's when we start getting ready for the meat and potatoes. In addition to that, on the 26th and 28th, we'll have go live training catch up, meaning once you go through your go live through the 21st, we will have a training session just to answer any questions or concerns you may have had during the first initial 3 days of training. Believe me, there's a lot of stuff that is going to be thrown your way. There is a lot of support here, not just from ourselves on the integration team, but from our training team. And then that leads us into September. A lot of good stuff is happening in September. COIs get distributed to our clients, to our regional presidents, and then they decide how they want to send those out to the clients, if any. Win team scheduling build continues. Our final load of the employees, the legacy max and employee loads loads into Win team. That's it. And then we're at go live, which starts at midnight on the 5th. Right? So that's a big day, September 5th. Big star right there. All right, after that, the 9th, the 8th through the 10th, again, continued staff support. This is where we start, you guys start calling us, letting us know, hey Tony, this is what I need, this is what we need. And we'll have go live look back calls, again, to discuss these issues. What issues are we having? What issues have we experienced? What can we fix now so that we can push forward? And then obviously the 11 to 12, you have core PAN training, you have week close and SAR review. What does that mean? Week close and SAR review. Well, that means that we'll start reviewing our payroll for the week ending of the 11th and so on. So I think that may be, I may need to make a change there, but that's okay. We'll make changes and I'll change that out to you guys. All right, and then everything goes the same on the week of the 15th to the 19th. We got go live prep calls and process, and then we have our payroll invoice adjustment review that closes out on the 11th. So our payroll closes on the 11th, then we do invoice reviews on the 17th. First AU payday, SPs and admin is on the 18th. All right. The week of September 22nd to the 26th, we got look back calls every day. We got variant training on the 23rd, Domo training on the 24th, and final max and payday is on the 25th. All right, I'll stop there and kick it over to Tracy. Did I miss anything? Was there anything else you would like for me to cover?
No, it's a lot of information to digest.
Right, all right.
Hey Tony, there is a question in the chat box from Ivan Pavon. It says, has this uniform transition been approved by the FPSCO? This must be changed to the SOW.
So Ivan, I will give you a call about that like we talked earlier. CO is aware, and we are going to, I've already had a communication with him, and I'm going to provide him specific dates and times as we get closer in the next week or so. So, I already talked to.
That's why I posed too.
And Todd, this is Matt. I would just add that the contract
Post
is
two.
subject to innovation, so we're not.
I have 2 for the 130 down here, but they're just gonna wait for the attorney down here.
Get the approval through that pathway.
Copy that.
All right, outstanding. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Todd, and really appreciate the question, Ivan. Thank you. All right.
There's one other question from Mike Simmons. Will training be at a set time, or will it be flexible for SPSO shifts?
That's a great call out, Mike. Thank you for that question. So trainings are scheduled at a set time, and our training team will go ahead and send out that calendar invite here in the next few weeks to give everybody time to prep for that.
And what's going to happen there, Tony and Tracy and I talked about that. Some of his supervisors are fixed, so we may have to be a little flexible with that. So Mike, I would say send me an email, give me a call, and we'll work through that, okay?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And pass again, Mike, for your question. Appreciate that. All right, let's push on. Much to cover. All right, go live prep agenda for 7/17. And recurring topics: IT transition, licensing and registration, uniforms transition, fleet transition, and firearms transition. Right? These are all the hot topics, recurring topics that we will on our prep calls. So let's get right into it. Let's kick it over to our IT partner, Christopher Lee. Let's kick to you, sir, to kick us off on your plan as far as the IT is concerned. So, Chris Lee, to you, please.
Hello, I'm Christopher Lee. I'm the director of IT acquisitions. Next slide, please. All right, cell phone transition. We're going to be getting site phones and manager phones out there. Again, all site phones will be replaced with Allied Universal devices before the go live. So a few weeks before the go live, again, we'll make sure that we start getting those items shipped out to the branches. You'll be going into the branches and swapping those devices out. Again, manager phones, same thing. Again, we'll be following that same exact process. Each individual SP will be issued a company device. You're responsible for taking the device home, bringing it to the site for each shift. More information will be coming on our upcoming calls. Next slide, please. Email on network access and personal files. Again, email addresses and login credentials are being created now, so we're getting all of that stuff set up for you. Again, we'll be going through a welcome email, and everything will be sent out to you with your internet logistics and account instructions will be sent to your MaxSend email around August 11th. That's right, the week before training starts. That's also the same time frame that we'll be shipping your computers out. So we'll be shipping out the laptops and stuff to you on that same week. So you'll get those. Make sure that you save your boxes, because again, we will need you to ship back the old equipment in those same boxes. So again, and again, more information will be provided in the upcoming meetings that we're going to have. We'll make sure that we put more details in there for you. And then your OneDrive and shared drive files will be moved over to AUS by Go Live. Again, you do need to manually transfer all of your files that are on your computers over to your OneDrive on your MaxSend laptop, so that when we do transfer everything, everything will be on your new computer. Next slide, please. Again, like I said, laptops will be shipping August 11th and will be available through August 15th. That same week, you should be receiving your email credentials. So FedEx tracking will be used in that process, and again, a return shipping label will be in that box so that we can use and send that stuff back to us. Next slide. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, Chris, thanks for that IT introduction. So quickly to the group, any questions?
Wait, there's a question?
Yep, I'm sorry, there's a question in the chat box. Will any desk computers be issued?
If there are desk computers like in the offices now, we'll take a look at those and make sure that again that those either meet the standards or are upgraded.
All right, and I see Todd. Todd, you have your hand up, please. Sir, to you.
Yeah, so the one thing too that obviously until these contracts are novated over, like we have in Hawaii, the key management personnel will still need to have their MagSent email because that's what they're going to recognize. So we just need to be cognizant to do the same thing like we set up for the Hawaii contract with Liu, and the trainers out there that is either MagSent and it goes over to their AUS or however we want to do that. So.
Yeah, emails will get forwarded. Yeah, emails and stuff will get forwarded over to AUS.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you again, Mike, for that question. Good call out. Thank you. All right, that brings us over to Matt Lombach for our licensing and registration. Please to you, Matt.
Thanks, Tony. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Lombach. I serve as Vice President, Associate General Counsel for Allied Universal. I look forward to working with you and your teams as we prepare to complete the license and registration steps by the September 5th go live. I just wanted to take a few minutes today to discuss some procedural items so we can hit the ground running over the course of the next week. I'll first discuss the timeline for the licensing integration. Then I'll describe our roles and responsibilities regarding the licensing and registration of security professionals. And then I'll close with a roadmap to successfully relicense or register the security professionals leading up to go live. So our timeline to relicense and register the security professionals can be broken down into 3 phases. The first phase involves preparation for the integration. Over the next 2 weeks, BMs and GMs and their counterparts should start to gather relevant license information for the security professionals. BMs and GMs should collaborate with their counterparts to obtain rosters of security professionals who are transitioning to their branches, along with their license number, their licensing expiration date, any training records, and evidence of completion. The legal team has also requested a list of licensed security professionals, and we'll share that list, filtered list with you upon receipt. The second phase involves license and compliance validation. BMs and GMs should verify the licensing data is accurate by August 8th. Any security professionals who are not in good standing or compliant with all licensing and training requirements will need to be removed from duty until remedial measures are taken. If you do come across that, escalate that to me and Todd as soon as you can. The final phase involves executing the licensing integration tasks. The 4 weeks before go live should be dedicated to completing the steps needed to license and register the security professionals in your jurisdiction by September 5th. Tony, if you can go to the next slide, please. This slide is the lay of the land. The left column breaks down our roles during the licensing and registration integration. The middle column lays out 4 key procedural steps during this process, and then the right column just lays out the timeline. As to roles, the legal services group and the licensing team are here to serve as your resource. We will communicate the legal requirements to transfer the security professionals in each jurisdiction. We'll address anything related to the agency licenses. So, for example, if you're in a jurisdiction that's going to require a new branch license or notification, we'll take the responsibility of completing those steps. We're here to answer any legal questions and funnel communications to the regulatory bodies. And note that we will provide written notification to each of the licensing authorities regarding this transaction. As to the roles of the BMs and GMs, your primary role is to learn about the details of the jobs that are mapped to your branch and help escalate or share information that may impact licensing and registration, particularly those that may need a particular clearance or a CITA badge or something that's unique. That falls outside the regular course of tasks. You will be responsible for ensuring all the security professionals transitioning to your branch are properly licensed and registered by Go Live. And we'll ask that you help coordinate with your team on the submission of any necessary documents, such as new applications, rosters of security professionals, background checks, whatever is needed in your state. And then we'll ask that you help provide updates of your progress each week. The middle column, as I mentioned, lays out 4 key steps. The first step is undergoing right now. The legal team is pulling together the last pieces of the requirements in each jurisdiction and share that with you by early next week. And then we'll work with you to, as you become more familiar with the jobs and security professionals that are mapped to your branch, so that together we can develop a comprehensive plan of relicensing and registering the security professionals over the next 7 weeks. And then together we'll execute and ensure that all the security professionals are properly licensed and registered by September 5th. And then the last step is just the follow through, making sure that license numbers, expiration dates, compliance codes are all up to date in WinTeam, so that you're able to pull reports out of WinTeam and be able to accurately track license compliance going forward. The right column on this slide summarizes the timeline. You know, the key is it's important to get started early. Each state is going to have its own timeline. Some states are very light during this process with little to no action that's required. And some states are going to require you to submit new license applications. If you are in one of those time-consuming states, it's even more critical to get started early. You know, and if you're not, the key is still to get started early so you can focus the rest of your time, especially leading up to Go Live, to employees and your clients. Tony, if you can go to the next slide, please. This slide just lists some recommendations to help with successful Go Live regarding licensing and registration. Again, the key is to get started early, identify team members who are going to help assist with this process, review the jobs that are mapped to your branch, and just become familiar with the work and help spot any time-sensitive items. So the second recommendation is just to direct legal questions to me or the legal team. This will help ensure messages and approaches to the licensing authorities are consistent. Another recommendation is just to coordinate with team members who are going to handle the termination notices or removals of security professionals from the MACCENT licenses. Some states will require notices of termination. We're all part of the family now, so we're going to make sure we're spotting each other and that we're compliant both with the Allied Universal and the MACCENT licenses going forward. If you are in a jurisdiction where we're going to have to submit checks as part of the transition, you're going to want to build in time to make sure that those checks are cut timely. When I say that, you're going to have to build in time to request the check, have it cut, sent to the branch, submit it to the licensing authority, and then ultimately have it cashed so your paperwork can get processed. The next recommendation is just to maintain thorough records of what's being submitted to the licensing authorities. This will help identify any post-integration issues. It'll also help you be prepared for any kind of post-go-live audits. Again, we're going to provide notice to the licensing authorities of this integration, and from time to time, those authorities will perform an audit just to make sure that we've done our part and are compliant with state laws and regulations. And finally, be sure to flag any jobs that require CITA badges. I'm nearly certain that no CITA badges are within the scope of the integration, but it is a time-consuming process and one that we just wanted to make sure is escalated early. And Tony, if you can go to the last slide, please. This final slide. Perfect. Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, Tracy. This final slide is just for informational purposes. It's just to demonstrate how we're going to be reporting updates on these Go Live prep calls going forward. As we coordinate with you and your teams on a weekly basis, we'll track the progress and then roll these up into pie charts or percentage tracking reports. And then this upcoming week, we'll start to work with you on a regular basis, feeding you any kind of information that we can, but also asking that you provide updates as the status of relicensing or registering. And if you hit any kind of trouble spots or need assistance, definitely escalate that as soon as you can. But that said, looking forward to collaborating with you and your teams and supporting you in achieving a successful go live. Back to you, Tony.
Thank you, Mike. Really, I'm sorry, Matt. Really appreciate that intro. I do see a couple of questions that popped up. Wes, we do have the jobs, the hours per work. What I'm working on are the schedules. I will actually send an email out to all of the RPs, general managers, everyone here on the AUS side, give you access to our Domo card. And Anne-Marie Todd mentioned, sorry, when will you have
Mississippi
listings
Armed
of
Professionals. Yeah.
Yes.
Anne-Marie, I think we'll coordinate with your team because Mississippi doesn't require security professional licenses or security guard licenses, but there is the armed component. So I think we'll need to coordinate with you and your colleagues that are handling the firearm piece.
Good to go. Thank you.
All right.
There is
Excellent.
not a Mississippi. There's not a Mississippi.
And we don't have any business
Job.
in Mississippi.
Okay. Well, got it.
It's not a concern.
That's what I thought. If I misinterpreted MS, let me know. I apologize if I did.
Now, there are some employees, because of where Memphis is located, there are employees who live in Mississippi, but they work in Memphis, Tennessee.
And Thomas, I see your note when we circulate the rosters and get the individual licenses and expirations. Yep, that's what we're gonna try to pull from the Maxent team.
All right, Matt and Thomas, thank you for that. We got one more coming in from Ivan. Business license transfer in Puerto Rico. I understand we can use the existing L-Lite license. Is that a good verification, Matt?
Let's take that one offline when we start to transition Puerto Rico. It's a little, the process is a little technical.
All right, Matt, that worked for you, Ivan? Take it offline. All right, moving on to our uniform transition plan. Looking at Laura Gabriel, please, to you.
Thanks, Tony. Laura Gabrielle, Director of Strategic Sourcing. Looking forward to working with everybody on the team going forward. I just want to say I had a great first experience with the team on Tuesday, met with the contract managers, and then Dana and Russ were also included on that call. Great first call. Questions were fantastic by the team, so we're off to a pretty good start. Tony, if you want to go to the next slide, just get right into this. So just a real quick overview of the uniform rebranding process. So just want to make sure everything, all Maxent security professionals, they must be rebranded uniforms in hand to AUS before September 5th. So typically I like to have the uniforms to the employees at least a week ahead of their go live date. We need to stress to the employees they're not to wear it till September 5th, but we like to have a less stressful week heading into your go live date. So we try to get this transition completed at least a week early to make sure it's not so stressful that first week for you. What's the scope of this? So anything basically that has Maxent patching or embroidery, typically it's going to be your shirts, outerwear, maybe a blazer, hats. They're the items we're looking to repatch or give new uniforms out for. So that's what's in the scope here. The subcontractor uniforms are not in scope. They will not be rebranded, so there's no need to worry about those uniforms or those jobs. So our default method of rebranding, it's going to be a combination of new uniforms and repatching of shirts and outerwear. So up front, what we're going to do is allow each SP to have 3 new shirts and a windbreaker at go live, just to ease the strain on the contract managers. We thought this would be easiest for them to have the new uniforms in place, but we are expecting the contract managers to either pre or post go live, it's up to them, whatever works best, to repatch the shirts that are still in good condition and end the outerwear. That is the expectation. We'd like to utilize those uniforms going forward. Pacific Uniforms is going to be the default vendor for all new purchases and for repatching. However, we are leaving the repatching piece up to the contract managers, what is easiest for them. If they prefer to go locally, they can. So that's also out there as a possibility. Orders for the new purchases, it's going to be done via the Pacific 99 uniform portal. We sent out all the logins last night, so all the contract managers have logins. The spec has been set up for the contract managers to go ahead and order the new uniforms. You can also order your patches through the uniform portal if you needed hats, whatever the case may be. We have that all set up for them to order. Again, you can use a local vendor for repatching, or you can use Pacific Uniforms for repatching. They have facilities around the country. Whatever is easiest for the contract manager is the way we're going to work this. Tony, if you go to the next slide. So just to kind of reiterate this, with the repatching, you can utilize Pacific or local. Pacific, they're going to have an Excel spreadsheet ready to go for bulk patch replacement or by individual. So if you want to repatch your uniforms, we can do it by individual, we can do it by bulk, whatever is easiest for you. We'll ship it to the closest location and then distribute once you get it back. Buying new garments, so I just want to make this clear, Tony, I noticed on your calendar you had July 23rd. But orders actually do not need to be submitted through Pacific until 8/1, so they have till August 1st to actually get these orders in. Again, no more than 3 shirts per SP and one windbreaker. If they need badges, hats, patches, all that can be done in bulk. The uniform vendor has been told that they need to have uniforms out the door no later than August 15th. However, once they start getting orders in, they will start the shipments. So we expect to have this wrapped up probably before August 15th. Can you go to the next page, Tony? So just a quick timeline. So again, on Tuesday, we had our first uniform rebranding call with the contract managers. Russ and Dana were also on the call. On that call, we really get into details. It's a very back and forth call with the contract managers. We allow them to ask questions freely. It's a good interactive call to get down to the nitty gritty on ordering uniforms and repatching, logistics, that kind of stuff. So we started that call on the 15th, and then that'll go on weekly till we go live. We will make sure everybody is on target. There's no issues. Again, we're here to support. I'm here to support the team if they have any issues going on. I'm here to help them through the process. 8/1 is the last day to submit your orders. So just a reminder on that, and then 9/5 on AUS uniforms. Tony, if you want to go to the next slide. So we can skip this, Tony. This is more of just a user guide for the contract managers on how to order. So we can actually skip this part for most, but this just gives them a clean way for reference.
All right, I think that's the end of your presentation there. That'll take me right into fleet.
Hey Tony, there's a question in the chat box. The question is from Ivan. Shirts, will they be long or short sleeves?
So the new shirts, that is up to you. You can order 3 long, 3 short, a combination, whatever works for you best. We're allowing you to order whichever, which fits your criteria best.
All right, Ivan, thank you for that question. Does that answer your question, Ivan? All right, excellent. All right, Laura, that looks to be the end of your presentation. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or should I move on?
No, you can move on to fleet.
All right, excellent. So moving on to fleet, I'm sorry, I just got one more question came up. I think FPS requires that we be uniform in our sleeves. In other words, we make the switch to long sleeves from short sleeves on the same day last year we changed in September. Catch that, Laura?
Yeah, so if you need to order long sleeves, you can order the 3 long sleeve shirts, if that is more helpful to your, whatever your transition date is. You'll also be doing repatching of uniforms as well, so whichever one is your preference, we're allowing short or long sleeve shirts.
Perfect. I have a handout for Edward. Edward, please go ahead. Ask your question. Edward, you're on mute if you're... All right, disregard. Thanks, Edward. Ivan, I see your hand up again.
Yeah, this is Ivan Pavone. Thank you for taking my notes, and I got it. So it depends on the location. Here in Puerto Rico, they allow a combination, mainly because of the sun. Some of the outside posts, they gets really hot here, and the PSOs prefer to use long sleeve shirts to protect themselves from the sun instead of wearing those black sleeves under. So it all depends on the region that we're working on, and it also depends on where you're working at. So we'll see here in Puerto Rico a combination of most of the PSOs that are outside are wearing long sleeve shirts, and in the inside it all depends if they're in a cold office or a warm office. So.
All right, thank you for that, Ivan. Appreciate the feedback. All right, moving right into fleet, trying to stay on point and on time. So moving on to fleet, please, to you, Lynn.
Thanks, Tony. Hi, I'm Lynn Dancy, and I work on our corporate spend team under fleet operations. Laura and I actually work pretty closely together, so we are holding the Tuesday calls in conjunction with both uniform and fleet topics. And so the contract managers, as she said, I really would like to reiterate what she said, that the questions that were brought up and the interactions we had with the MaxCent team were excellent, and really looking forward to working with your team moving forward. I'll try and go through these fleet topics pretty quickly. Key points are that we'll talk about fleet rebranding as well as our telematics systems and installation into the vehicles with those. Again, we will cover our fleet management company as well as the issuance of fleet cards, and then give a quick timeline as to our deliverables as it comes to the fleet integration. Next slide, please. Fleet rebranding. What that will be is removing the existing MaxCent decals and replacing them with the Allied Universal decals. One of the key points I'd like to point out here is that most of the work as it comes to the fleet transition will occur after go live. So go live is September 5th, and Monday, September 8th, we will be able to start rebranding the MaxCent vehicles with the Allied decals. Most of the data gathering work is done prior to go live, which I will work closely with Dana on, so that we have point of contact information, locations, etc., any security clearances we might need to obtain prior to allowing vendors on site, anything else that we might need to address as it comes to rebranding the vehicles. One of the key points we'd like to cover is making sure that 4 to 5 hours is how long it takes generally to take decals off of a vehicle and place new vehicle decals on. So 4 to 5 hours is a long period of time. We want to make sure that you have your client sites covered, or you are using time to do the appointment that you aren't servicing clients. If you are servicing clients and need to have a spare vehicle in hand, we ask that you either repurpose a vehicle for the day or ask for a rental vehicle, which we'll go into further details later on. Rebranding location, dry and level. They should be bright. You should have space available around the vehicle for our vendors to work. And again, if you're going to work on client sites, we want to make sure that clients have approval of that. We want permission from them. A lot of times clients don't allow for vendors to work on their sites for liability purposes, but we'll work with you to make sure that a location is selected that will be able to service our vehicles. Next slide, please. Again, we have fleet telematics that we install on our vehicles. Fleet telematics are going to help us with driver safety programs that we have in place here at Allied Universal. It will also alert our drivers to certain driving behaviors that we'd like to bring to the attention of the drivers, such as speeding, harsh braking, any collisions, etc. We have a very robust safety program built into our vehicles here. This piece of fleet transition will be installing telematics to those vehicles that can have telematics equipment installed. Again, part of the data gathering process with Dana and the contract managers will be to ascertain those vehicles that can have telematics equipment installed, understanding that you have sensitive clients and contracts in place that may limit the ability to do so. The installs for the Lytx equipment is done by another vendor and will take approximately 1 hour to complete. We ask, again, make sure that you've got permission from the client if we're doing it on the client site, or we aren't disrupting our daily activities with the client sites and have a covered vehicle or rental in place while we're doing the installs of the telematics equipment. Next slide. So this is just a quick slide in regards to some of the details. We're running up against time, so I'm going to quickly go to, let's say, our timeline for fleet deliverables on slide 42. We cover a lot of these details in our Tuesday meetings with the contract managers. I will, in future go live prep meetings, cover further details as it goes into the fleet deliverables as we get closer to go live. Some of the timelines that we need to keep track of are data gathering. I'll work very closely again with Dana in order to get point of contact information, locations to complete the decals and telematics installations. We hope to have data collection starting on August 1st with all of our data due August 15th. That data will be turned into our vendors, in which they'll start contacting our point of contacts to schedule appointments for after go live. Again, go live is September 5th, and so we will start the rebranding and telematics installs on September 8th, and we hope to have everything completed by the end of the month in October. The next slide, please. Both Dana and I are going to be working very closely together with the data gathering, contacting our contract managers, as well as watching progress. We'll have a smart sheet that's developed that we'll be able to see how progress goes for both installations on the decals as well as the installs. We'll be providing progress reports during our Tuesday calls with the contract managers, as well as showing this group how we are proceeding with each of those as well. Again, like Laura reiterated, anytime you need any help, you have any questions as it pertains to fleet, rebranding, or telematics, we'll go into our fleet management company on another date. Please reach out. We are here to help, and we're very excited to move forward with you and your teams.
Outstanding, Lynn. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. All right, moving right along into our firearms transition. Anne Marie, I know you're a little tight on time. If you wouldn't mind giving us a high overview, I would really appreciate it.
Yep.
Please.
Absolutely. So first slide is kind of demonstrates what the armament looks like across MaxSense. I will be getting with Matt and his team to find out, gather all the armed professionals and where they're certified and ensure that we're touching all the appropriate states. This was my initial overview with Dan Lippin from MaxSense and kind of looking at, we've talked with those contract managers across Maryland, New Jersey, California, Alaska, and Puerto Rico. I do know there are additional firearms in Montana and North Dakota. So we will be working with the teams on that. If you actually go to the next slide, this is a listing. We are doing WIFs and photos right now. The WIF in the photo is our evidence or proof of life of the firearm. So we've already started that effort with our MaxCent team while they're doing qualifications across the board. So they're coming in for their qualification. They're also doing their photo there at the range as well as their weapon inspection form. If you go to the next slide, very quickly, the data triangulation. So based on our learnings from our current audit that we're doing with AUS, we had some learnings coming out of that with our new ORCID firearm management tool. So we're actually going to attack it from two different fronts. We're going to go from not only the serial numbers that came across with the numbers from MaxCent, but also with the MaxCent security professionals to ensure that we touch everyone who either has a certification or an armed coding, or we touch every single firearm that's listed under MaxCent. We will put that data together. We are going to create a master data file of all that information, and that's how we're going to build out our inventory tool. So if you actually go to the next slide, because I know we're short on time, this is more of our timeline. We want to complete the inventory by 9/1 so that we can start creating the master data file to go into ORCID, which is our firearm tool. We cannot we can put that in on 9/5 into our bound book, which is ORCID. We will also go with the Win Team Go Live. The Win Team Go Live and the ORCID Go Live will happen on the 5th. The reconciliation or assignments will happen on the 6th because we need Win Team to flow through to ORCID overnight. So the data reconciliation and assignments will happen after Go Live. After talking with Matt and his team and Jim Grant, our FFL holder, we'll then determine the timing for all those assignments to be complete. I assume within probably a 14-day timeline. I put additional information in the deck on what specifically we're asking our MaxCent partners to do in regards to photos and weapon inspection forms and how to fill those out. We met last week with Dan and the contract managers, talked them through what we're looking for and what our needs are in regards to the forms and photos and how to do that, and they're executing against that now. We'll be starting our firearms weekly meetings tomorrow, where we talk about what progress we're making against the total armament that we have, and we'll be providing, similar to Matt's update, an update of how many actual whips and photos we have for all the firearms that we have as well. In regards to communication for the team, I'll be working with you guys across for all the firearms and all the security professionals, as well as Jim Grant, our FFL holder, and Ron Sable, who is my regional point of contact in the Northwest. As needed, we'll bring in our other partners. Nick Doobie from the IT team will support us with the certification and armed guard coding that we need in Win Team that will flow through to ORCID. So we'll be doing testing on those data flows prior to implementation to ensure they work. And I'll be connecting with our IT partners as well on this, on the MaxCent. Any questions? I know that was very fast. I will provide a more in-depth update next week. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to provide information. I know we've got some alignment sessions coming up with Matt and his team. Back to you, Tony.
All right, Anne-Marie, thank you so much. No questions as of yet. All right, what is the Go Live Prep agenda for next week's call? What are the next steps? So we all are, again, next step, maintain priorities for all operational leaders, remain service delivery and customer retention. Legal will reach out to out to schedule regular license calls to begin transition. I believe that's already ongoing. A detailed plan has been established by the uniform team, which was provided to you today. Our next Go Live prep call will be on July 24th. Again, we're going to go back and touch base on Go Live communications. That we'll start talking a little bit about those, entry to Go Live training, job mapping, and progress on licensing uniforms, fleet, firearms, and IT transition. So that is the agenda for next week. For appendix, for POCs, I have a list of POC contact information of your counterparts and here are so far the dates of where all of our folks are holding meetings on a weekly basis. So again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know, and I will again connect you or answer your questions the best I can. Outside of that, that is it for our first initial kickoff call. So I thank each and every one of you for your time and for your patience. Thank you so much. We'll talk again next week, and I'll hold back here for a bit if anybody wants to talk to me on a one-on-one.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Tony?
Yes.
This is Howie from the Northeast. How are you?
Howie, I'm doing okay. Thank you.
Looked at Domo, and I don't see anything for the Northeast. Is that going to conflict with what jobs we may have this year? Is it not something that I have to be concerned with at this point?
No, I don't think you have anything to be concerned. We don't have New Jersey. We have New Jersey. We have some other places there, Howie. But you should be able to see something.
I saw Jose Uber's stuff. I saw the Mid-Atlantic, I believe, but I didn't see anything for the Northeast. I want to make sure is it maybe my access not 100% or. But looking at my Domo cards under the max sent, I just see Jose's stuff.
That's interesting. Let me look into that for you.
Okay, not a problem.
Because I could have sworn I gave you access, but if I didn't, that's probably what it is. I probably didn't give you access, Howie.
Okay, not a problem. I won't take it personal. If it should change, I'll come on the next meeting. But if there's nothing happening in the Northeast, then I'll divert my attentions elsewhere.
You will. No problem. No problem, Howie. Thank you. So I wrote you down. Howard Figueroa needs Domo access. I think that's what it is. You probably don't have the access. I apologize for that.
Okay, not a problem. Thanks.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. You do the same.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Doing okay. Thank you.
This is Brian Carroll. I operate a commercial site here in Reston, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
I am with Maxen as of this year, and I'm a former Allied Universal employee. I departed, my last day was January 13th. Am I able to, a three-part question. Am I able to recoup my employee number and old email address? And am I able to recoup my my benefits? I'm a 20-year plus employee.
Okay, I have to get back to you on that, Brian. If you wouldn't mind sending me an email regarding your stats, and I can forward that email on to the appropriate person. But I wouldn't know how to answer that question for you just yet, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
You got it. You have my email, Brian?
I do.
Perfect. Thank you,
thanks,
sir.
Don. Yep, take
Thank
care.
you. Yep.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Mike, I'm doing fabulous. Thank you.
Long time no speak.
Yes, it's been a while. How are you?
I know.
Good to see your name on